Furthermore, furthermore, the buck didn't stop there. The buck didn't stop there. So where we at? Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Where's Thalia at? Where's Thalia at? So he also got accused this week of what happened with Thalia Graves. Let me see if I can find that article again. Where I had it at? Where I had it? Where I had it? Where I had it? Oh, I gotta get into that too with Big Joe. With Big Joe. Let me just type it up one more time again, real quick. Okay, so new lawsuit accuses Sean Combs of rape, according to assault later recording assault later distributed as porn. Another woman has come forward with sexual assault allegations against Sean Diddy Combs. Thalia Graves alleges that Combs and his bodyguard, Joseph Sherman, tied her up and violently raped her in a Bad Boys recording studio the summer of 2001, recording the attack without her knowledge and later distributed the video as pornography. In both her 26-page civil suit and televised press conference held by lawyer Gloria Alfred, Graves says she was 25 years old at the time of the assault and met the Bad Boy owner while she was dating a record producer who was working for the label. Graves alleges Combs invited her to a Manhattan recording studio where he offered her a drink that she believes was laced with drugs. She fell unconscious soon after drinking it. When she woke up, Graves claims she was naked with her hands bound and restrained with that she thinks was a plastic bag. With what she thinks was a plastic bag. Now, let's just go to the full press conference here.
Thank you for coming today. I'm attorney Gloria Allred, and with me is our client, plaintiff Thalia Graves. Today we filed a lawsuit in the United States District Court, Southern District of New York, for our client,
it's a little low, sorry.
Thalia Graves, who is given permission to use her name. The case number of the 26-page complaint is 1:24-CV-07-201. In her lawsuit, Thalia, through her attorneys, sues Sean Diddy Combs, also known as the defendant, and another individual and other entities. The complaint alleges in part, in the first cause of action, that defendant Combs and another defendant committed a, quote, violation of New York City Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act by viciously and violently forcing sexual contact, oral sex, and sexual intercourse on the plaintiff, end quote. In addition, the complaint alleges in the second cause of action that defendant Combs and another defendant committed a violation of New York Civil Rights Law, quote, section 52-B, end quote, by, quote, raping plaintiff and recording it. Defendants caused plaintiff to be depicted in a video image, unclothed and with intimate body parts exposed, and engaged in sexual conduct with another person, end quote. The lawsuit also alleges that, quote, defendant Combs and another defendant published and or disseminated the videos without plaintiff's knowledge or consent. On information and belief, defendants have continued to disseminate the video, including by selling it as pornography through the present, end quote. In our complaint, we ask that, quote, defendants should be ordered to account for and destroy all copies of the video that are in their actual or constructive possession, custody, or control, end quote. And that, quote, defendants should be temporarily and permanently enjoined from further disseminating or publishing any intimate videos of plaintiff, end quote. We also allege in the third cause of action that Combs and another defendant committed a violation of New York City Administrative Code, Section 10-180, quote, recording and showing others the video of themselves violently raping the plaintiff. And the defendants disclosed an intimate image of plaintiff without her consent, end quote. As a result of these and other allegations in our complaint, we request that judgment be entered against defendants as follows. Awarding compensatory damages for all physical injuries, emotional distress, psychological harm, anxiety, humiliation, physical and emotional pain and suffering, family and social disruption, and other harm in an amount to be determined at trial. Awarding punitive damages in an amount to be determined at trial. Awarding attorneys' fees and costs pursuant to any applicable statute or law, including under New York City Administrative Code, Section 10-1104, New York Civil Rights Law, Section 52-B2, New York City Administrative Code, Section 10-180, and any other applicable statute or law. We're also seeking additional relief that the court may deem just and proper. As a result of what is alleged in the lawsuit, Thalia alleges that she has suffered and continues to suffer, among other damages, emotional harm, including mental anguish, emotional distress, humiliation, and physical damage. In a few minutes, Thalia will speak to the impact and harm that she has suffered and continues to suffer. She will take this courageous step because she thinks that it is important that the public understand the impact that rape and other criminal acts have on those who have been victimized. Often victims do not speak publicly about the specific damages that criminal acts cause them. Some of the many reasons that victims do not speak out publicly about this include being ashamed or shamed for this. But we believe that victims should not be shamed, and instead those who committed the criminal acts against them should be ashamed and take responsibility for the harm that they have caused victims to suffer. We are very proud of Thalia for speaking out today in order to help victims of rape and other acts of sexual violence against them. In addition, we thank our co-counsel Marianne Wang, Heather Gregoria, and Jasly Liriano for their exceptional legal work on this complaint. Our goal for Thalia is very simple. We want justice for her, and we are looking forward to winning it. It is long overdue for those who have caused her to suffer to be held accountable. Okay, a little more. There you go. Thank you.
The internal pain after being sexually assaulted has been incredibly deep and hard to put into words. It goes beyond just physical harm caused by and during the assault. It's a pain that reaches into your very core of who you are and leaving emotional scars that may never fully heal. Some of the hardest parts of this pain are the shame and the guilt I have experienced that plays a negative part in my day-to-day ability to function properly. Being blamed, questioned, and threatened has often made me feel worthless, isolated, and sometimes responsible for what happened to me. My family issues made the pain even worse. I was already going through a divorce at the time of the assault and did not get the support that I needed. I was also faced with disbelief and judgment. This has put a strain on my selection of men and relationships. Where many relationships became aggressive and abusive, which has made me feel even more alone in my struggles. I go through spells of being distant and withdrawn that it's sometimes so hard to leave my house. The trauma of the assault has taken a toll on my mental health.
Yo, imagine if Cassie did this. Imagine if Cassie did this. Imagine if English did this. Imagine if Christy McKinney did this. Imagine if any of the other victims did this before he got arrested. Right? So that's another reason why she's even doing this. She's only doing this supposedly because Diddy is finally arrested. Hell, notice how it's a 50-person class action damn lawsuit. On top of the other underage girl that hasn't even filed one yet. She just told a story. I don't know if she's even part of the damn lawsuit. But then you have her, Thalia Graves, coming out right after you get arrested. Talk about putting a nail in a nigga coffin.
I've had PTSD, depression, and anxiety. I'm emotionally scarred. It has been hard for me to trust others, to form healthy relationships.
Yes, I agree over thoughts. Genius lawyer.
Safe in my own skin. Flashbacks, nightmares, and intrusive thoughts make me feel like it's a constant struggle. I also suffer with physical problems such as chronic pain, sexual discomfort. The violation I have experienced during the assault has had lasting effects on my body, causing ongoing health problems and complications. The combination of physical and emotional pain has created a cycle of suffering from which it is so hard to break free. I want to continue on this journey towards recovery and healing. I'm glad that he is locked up.
There ain't nothing fake or act about this. There's nothing publicity stunt whatsoever about this at all. This is crazy. This is heartbreaking.
But that's a temporary feeling of relief.
Thalia is not going to be taking any questions, but I'll be happy to take some questions.
Laura, can you talk about the context of this assault? What, where, when, what occasion?
Question is, can I speak about the context of this alleged assault? No.
Gloria, can you just speak on, I know it's difficult for your client going through this, but what prompted her to come forward now?
It was time to file this lawsuit.
Gloria, what do you know about the video that was allegedly recorded during the alleged violation?
Question is, what do I know about the video that was recorded?
Yeah, what do you know? Where is it now? Is it still? Where is the video?
Yeah. There are many details in the complaint.
Gloria, did the
Complaint alleges that it was taken without her knowledge and consent, that she wouldn't have consented, that it was then published and viewed by others, and may still be out there being viewed.
Gloria, did the allegations in this complaint overlap in any way with the criminal charges against Mr. Combs?
The question is, does this complaint overlap with the criminal charges that have been filed? My understanding of the criminal charges are that the charges are sex trafficking, RICO, and transportation of a prostitute. We are not alleging any of those criminal charges in our complaint.
Has she been in touch with federal prosecutors at all?
Question is, have I been in touch?
Has you or your client been in touch with federal prosecutors about her allegations?
About this? I have no comment.
Gloria, what about a grand jury?
Pardon me?
Grand jury, federal prosecutors, or grand jury, has Ms. Graves spoke to either?
Is the question, has she testified before the grand jury? Is that the question?
Yes.
Let's put it this way. I never comment on whether any of my clients have testified before the grand jury or will testify before the grand jury, since the grand jury is a secret proceeding.
Gloria, this other defendant in the video, alleged defendant, is this a celebrity?
Is the other defendant alleged to be in the video, and what was the remainder of your question?
Is that person, that alleged defendant, is that person a celebrity?
Is the person that...
Tamiko, I think you're right. I think that is Gina. I think Gina is the other Jane Doe. That's what I'm starting to think. I think Gina is the other Jane Doe. But we could be wrong. We're going to get to that one in just a second, actually. And this is definitely this one ain't Gina. But I wonder now if Gina is in that case. Overthought. I don't think that's Gina. That Jane Doe said she met him in 2020. That's just someone else he did the same thing to. Well, isn't that when we're gonna have to look at that video again of the ex-girlfriend Gina? It's like, when did Gina say she met him? I forgot when we watched that video. I forgot exactly what year she said. I think it was it 2018 or something like that. It might have been 2016 or something. 2016 and 2018. Okay, so yeah, it probably wasn't. It probably wouldn't have been because 2020 wasn't the same year. It's around the same time that he was with Cassie, definitely. It's definitely around the same time. Yeah, 2018 is when he met Gina. That's what I was trying to think of. It's around that time frame. It's definitely around that time frame. Thank you guys so much for also hitting that like button. It definitely helps the algorithm. I greatly appreciate you guys saying that as well. I greatly appreciate that. But yeah, I don't necessarily know if Gina is the Jane Doe. We're gonna get to her article in just a second, though.
Has not been named by me.
We do have the case. We do have the lawsuit to read as well.
Not as far as I know.
Gloria, as disturbing as the video may be, have you yourself laid eyes on the video?
Have I looked at the video? No. I have not viewed the video, nor do I wish to view the video, nor should anyone else view the video, with the exception of if law enforcement and a court believe that they should and are permitted to view a pornographic video as evidence in the case. If they have it, then that would be it.
Gloria, just to be clear,
We don't ever view pornographic videos, even if they might end up being evidence in the case, and we do not transmit any such video, if we have it, to any other person, because we do not think it is permitted under the law.
Gloria, Elizabeth Wagmeister from CNN.
Would you please speak up? It's hard to hear you.
Yes, sorry, I'm back here and a bit short. In the complaint, you noted that your client learned about this video in November 2023. That is around the time of the first public lawsuit, at least, against Sean Combs from his ex-girlfriend Cassie. I'm curious how you and your client learned about the existence of this video.
You're saying that this incident is alleged to have occurred about the time of another lawsuit having been filed? I'm sorry, I can't understand your question.
Per the complaint, this alleged incident occurred in 2001, but your client learned about the existence of the video in 2023, more than 20 years after. I'm curious how she learned about the existence of that video.
Yeah, so the question is, she alleges that the incident took place in 2001, but you are saying that it is alleged in the complaint that was filed that she learned about it in 2022. And then the question is, how did she learn about it? We have no comment in response to that question.
Gloria, has Diddy reached out to your client?
Excuse me?
Has Diddy reached out to your client?
Question is, has Diddy reached out to her? We will not comment on that either.
Gloria, I know this is very difficult for your client, but would you be able to share a little bit of her background? Where did she come from? Or what did she do? Can you give us some details about your client, please?
No, I can't provide further details about where she came from or what she does.
Gloria, to your knowledge, has
Okay. So, before we do read her case, right? That was something that also came up in the came out in the same day. It's crazy how everything came out 27th, this Saturday, so Friday. Yo, Eric Adams getting indicted and all this shit. The press conference with Thalia Graves. Notice how all of this shit happened Thursday. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, well, damn. Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're going to get me for saying this one. Tuesdays and Thursdays are usually Freemason meetings. So if you notice, a lot of big news happens on what? On Monday, Thursday, or Friday. Right? Big news always happen Monday, Thursday, or Friday. So that Tuesday, you think about it. Thursday, you're going to hear about some old shit. Thursday, notice how Thursday is always a breaking news. It's always some heavy Monday or Thursday on a breaking news. It's on purpose. It's done on purpose for you. So Tuesday and Thursdays are Freemason meeting days, right? So I've noticed how, like I said, so many things started to pile up on him on the 27th. So this also happened on the 27th as well. It was just mentioned in the chat with Young Miami, right? Let me bring this up over here and bring myself away. So Sean Diddy Combs impregnated victim Young Miami, encouraged abortion lawsuit alleges. Sean Diddy Combs has been accused of impregnating and drugging an unnamed alleged victim in a new lawsuit as the embattled media mogul's legal challenges continue to mount. A lawsuit filed Friday in New York State Supreme Court by Jane Doe includes allegations of sexual assault and abuse that took place over a 4-year span from the fall of 2020 until the present year. It also states that the alleged abuse took place until July, 4 months after Homeland Security investigations against raided Combs, Los Angeles, Miami homes in March, 2 months before his arrest on charges of racketeering. So this was very recent. This is weird here. This is strange here. The lawsuit includes startling allegations, including claims that Combs forced the unnamed woman to have vaginal intercourse without her consent, drugging her and impregnating her. The lawsuit alleged that Combs and his staff recorded their sexual encounters without consent and caused her to be afraid for her safety as well as anxiety and depression. The lawsuit also alleges that Combs continued to contact the alleged victim in order to control her actions and autonomy. In a statement provided to U.S. Today on Friday, the Jane Doe attorney, New York-based law firm Napoli, what's the name here? Let me see something. Napoli Shikalnik, I guess you could say. I'm going to keep this name right here. I'm going to try to catch something here. Called out Combs and said, "No one is above the law." All right, I want to try something real quick. Okay, so they haven't necessarily released the PDF on it just yet. I didn't think they did. Necessarily. I did try looking for it, and nothing really comes up except for the old Jane Does. And so many different damn Jane Does, it's hard to find the recent Jane Doe. And even if you put in Carisha, of course, you don't necessarily see anything. Except for, of course, the articles that talk about her, where it says that she had encouraged the abortion in the lawsuit. That's really all you see about her. So Jane Doe first met Diddy in fall 2020 overseas after he invited her on a trip, the lawsuit alleges. After visiting him in spring 2022 in Miami, the lawsuit says she woke up and her feet were purple and bruised with a bite mark on her heel, stating she was unaware of how she got the injuries. The lawsuit also states that the Jane Doe was compelled to ingest an unknown substance before she learned that it was or contained the drug ketamine and or substances, pretty much the 2C, which caused her to black out and lose consciousness intermediately. Later, she took a pregnancy test, which was positive. The lawsuit alleges the City Girls rapper Young Miami, whose legal name is Carisha Brownlee, and is the apparent ex-girlfriend of Combs, harassed Jane Doe repeatedly, calling her and telling her to have an abortion. Jane Doe later had a miscarriage and claims she did not speak to Combs or members of his camp for 3 months. So she did lose the child, unfortunately. Then in late 2022, the assault alleged. Then in late 2022, as the lawsuit alleged, Combs began communicating with the Jane Doe again and began compelling her to travel with him. Oh, so this is more sex trafficking here. He would harass her through text messages, calls, and third parties until she agreed, according to court filings. During her visits to Combs, the lawsuit states he made the alleged victim perform a show for him, giving her alcohol and other substances until she untimely passes out. Then she would wake up with no recollection of what occurred or how she had those injuries. The alleged behavior continued until July of this year. During an instance in July, the lawsuit states Jane Doe tried drinking water, which tastes strange, and made her feel unwell. The next morning, she felt ill and confused and could not remember what happened the night before, and the bedroom was in a disarray. The lawsuit alleges that during a 4-year span, Combs consistently pressured her into the bedroom, adding other men and women despite her saying she did not want others involved. This sounds very similar to Cassie's situation now. He made threatening jokes, and the alleged victim feared for her safety if she failed to comply with his demands, the lawsuit says, noting she was also forced to witness him slap and abuse other women as well. Sick bastard. The lawsuit also alleged Combs tracked her location and monitored her conversations. He would refer to statements made by her when Combs was not present. He discouraged the alleged victim from working, the lawsuit states, and when she would try to be financially independent, Combs would pay her an allowance as a form of control. She complied with his behavior, the lawsuit claims, out of fear of what he would do if she said no. The alleged victim is seeking an unspecified amount of damages from Combs. Diddy denied bail twice since the arrest on their sex charges. That was it for that particular part. But yeah, I'm trying to find the actual the actual PDF on it. But if anyone does find it before me, if I do find it, I'll definitely spin the block and read the whole thing. I will definitely read the whole thing. But before it gets too late, I definitely would like to read Miss Thalia Graves. I definitely would like to read that. Keep my camera away because I want everyone to at least see the document as well. Not trying to lose my voice here. All right. Let's get it started. And I probably will be spinning the block anyway because we're approaching about the 3.5. And I do have Eric Adams 50 just to show you guys real quick. Just to let you know. I do have this entire 55-page motherfucker here that I did want to share with you guys. This is Eric Adams' indictment. So we will be going over Eric Adams' indictment. I have some other information that I'll be sharing with you guys tonight as well. But let's get into Thalia Graves' lawsuit here with Diddy. What number are we up to with this? This is just some of the ones I have over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have like 6 up here. Oh, excuse me. That's a duplicate here. So I have like 5 up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up here alone with just his lawsuits. This is McKinney's U.S. versus Combs. What was this one? Oh, this is the indictment. Okay, that's the indictment. Then there was Rodney. This is English's. Like, Like how many lawsuits can one man have in a year? This is Guinness Book of World Records. This is Don Richards. Like he's definitely in the Guinness Book of World Records for fastest amount of lawsuits in a year. Like how many lawsuits can you get in a year? He's definitely hit that world record of it. I just want to say that. So Ripley's Believe It or Not, damn it, Diddy did it. I made another funny. Anyway, let's read Thalia Graves versus Combs versus Joseph Sherman. Oh, real quick. As we are about to read this, right? So you see that name there, Sean Combs, Joseph Sherman, right? So another thing that should be in here, I would think, would be rhymes and dimes. See, there is the loophole right here. So it says versus Sean Combs, Joseph Sherman, Daddy's House Recordings Inc., CO Opco LLC, Combs Global, Combs Enterprise, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Productions Holdings, Bad Boy Books, Bad Boy Records, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Productions. So the main thing that's missing is what what Joseph Sherman is under. Now, what do I mean by that? Pardon me, I'm hoarse here. Parts, I should say. What I mean by Joseph Sherman, his company is missing. Joseph Sherman's company is missing mainly. So a lot of people are not familiar with who Joseph Sherman actually is. Joseph Sherman is known as Big Joe. Okay, so Big Joe is actually cousins with Dame Dash, who we're going to look at a video here in a second. But he was actually in a lot of videos back in the day with Cameron. Some people don't know. But I'm gonna show you a video. I'm gonna show you a picture here. This is Big Joe here on the right. Okay. But as you see here, with him and Gotti. So he was always pretty much around. You can see him in a lot of, like I said, Cameron videos. He was in Killer Season as well, if you remember. But one of his biggest claims to fame was his Rhymes and Dimes magazine. Now, I can show this here, of course. If you need to put your kids to bed, please do. I can show this, of course, because it's nothing derogatory, as they said. So nothing, no nudity. This is just all cover work, okay? This is all just covers and whatnot, okay? Nothing to be alarming, okay? But this is Rhymes and Dimes. This is the Rhymes and Dimes publication website, in which they have a shop here. I will not go to the shop or the exclusive pictures or the gift shop, okay? I will not even go to the contact. This is as far as we're going to go here. But yes, Rhymes and Dimes, of course, is Big Joe's book publication, okay? Now, what else do I have up here? So, yes. This is Inmate Magazine's books and subscriptions, where you can pretty much purchase Rhymes and Dimes as well as the book publication website. Okay? This is pretty much where, if you wanted to find that video on Thalia Graves, this is where you would look. You would look no further than a Rhymes and Dimes DVD, in which the lawsuit states that her tape was sold as pornography. That is pretty much what Rhymes and Dimes is. Rhymes and Dimes is pretty much its own pornography hub through a magazine. How I know this is because Big Joe also used to manage a certain porn star by the name of Roxy Reynolds. Now, you won't see too many pictures of Big Joe and Roxy Reynolds. Trust me, I have tried to find, and all you see is that. But I do remember her being on Sub-Zero DVD, and that is where I first remember seeing Big Joe in the Rhymes and Dimes magazine. In fact, I also remember him doing his little video of his Rhymes and Dimes.
Yo, it's your boy Bruce Smith chilling with Showtime TV, live at the Rhymes and Dimes mixer, out here like lawn chairs, live.
Don't worry, I got y'all on the volume. That press conference was pretty loud here. Let me see. Okay, there's Big Joe. Let me just show him speaking real quick, though.
People, no, you know it's already on deck. I'm rocking my shirt. Yeah. See that? Yeah. See? Oh, by myself, baby?
Yeah.
How do I look? Like this?
No, look at the camera.
No, let me get this one.
Video.
This is Ivana's press release for Rhymes and Dimes, you know what I mean? And, got my man Russell there. And I'm proud of my new achievement, you know what I mean? As you can see, we upgraded the book, cover, the look. But what we upgraded most about this book was this, the girls, you see? I'm not knocking nobody's swag, but we took it to another level of beauty without showing a bunch of nudity, stuff of that nature. You know, we want to keep it sexy. But we got women that can come out without the makeup on, you know what I mean? See this? This is a real snake. This was taken by Felix the Great. The snake is real, not airbrushed, none of that. The girl is real. All these chicks, not airbrushed. That's a lot of airbrush, but they were still cute without airbrush, you know what I mean? You know? Models, they want to be real models. Look for them. But look for Russell. Yeah. All right, shout out to Showtime TV for supporting Rhymes and Dimes, giving us mad love. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, Rhymes and Dimes is truly for new rappers, upcoming artists, A$AP Rocky, all of them. All the new ones is coming up. That's what this is for, Future. All the new powerhouse. I'm not trying to be funny, but shout out to Juice. That's my man. He got the t-shirts out, you know, so we rocking, you know what I mean? And he got shirts. He in my magazine too. Like, it's crazy. Like my man bought an ad space that made my magazine look good. Yeah.
They look good. We made
this is
better.
black ownership, you know what I mean? Black ownership clothes, black ownership t-shirts, black ownership sweat clothes, you know? But the thing is that the brother that owns this clothing company right here, he cheap as a motherfucker. Yo, I've been taking my bipolar medicine because I'm kind of off balance and shit. I'm a little mentally crazy over the years. So, for all you people that says, that motherfucker is crazy, I'm better than myself. What? No. See how hot this look?
That's kind of incriminating. You're slightly crazy in bipolar. That's incriminating.
This is an upscale outfit. For real, serious. Very upscale. I got one. Come for extra large. See the zippers on the sleeve? See how I laid out? See how this picture look? But the nigga that own this clothing company is a cheap motherfucker. I had to pull one of his teeth out to get my money. Jesus Christ, that nigga cheap. I love you though. And he got a discount. But we ain't gonna talk about that. Shout out to Centerprint, you know what I mean? Sexy, see this? This is what we need to talk about. All you hating ass motherfuckers and hating ass bitches, and don't get it wrong, when y'all see Big Joe always calling girls bitches, I call bitches bitches and queens queens. Every woman ain't a queen, my mama taught me that shit. And every man ain't no motherfucking gangster. You can front on you want on TV. But this is what y'all should be up on. Romney and Obama. Let me teach y'all about something that I got. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to read. Shout out to Sylvia. God bless her. But you need to read this because it's important. Because if this man is elected, your mama and your grandmama won't have no Medicaid. There'll be no post office. There'll be no social service. There'll be no nothing. So all the programs that you good black people like your food stamps and welfare is gone. So y'all keep talking about y'all not voting for Obama. Black people, wake up, read, learn to support your black people, learn to support what's going on. Stop hating on each other, man. Support a brother, you know, that's trying to do something for brothers. Come out there like, I support A$AP Rocky. I don't know him, but I support him. I support, you know, murder. You know what I mean? This that Brooklyn, shout out the hood. You know what I'm saying? I support him.
See, he doesn't even know A$AP Rocky. He does some shit.
I support myself. I support everybody, man. And I'm crazy. Learn to support. We gotta stop hating so much. I want y'all to see this. You know what I mean? This is Miss Rizzo.
And keeps letting us know he's crazy.
Upscale, classy. This magazine comes without girls being naked. These are bathing suits. I'm trying to get even past this. No more panties, no more that. I keep it. Look, this is Miss Candy. See how gorgeous she look? In some magazines, she could never look this good. But see how good she look? Look at this. Look at it. Look at Yachty. Look how good they look. All right? Shout out to Votto. He on his way. See that? Y'all know what hoodwink mean, right? They killed that man and all y'all done forgot about that little boy getting killed, huh? Y'all forgot. Y'all more worried about the bullshit. What's on Love in New York or Love or some shit y'all be watching all day. Wake up. Start realizing what's going on. See black women with their clothes on. They still look good. Look at that. Black women dressed. My magazine got them dressed. Now listen.
Now pay attention to what he says here.
This old white woman told me the secret. She said, Joseph, I don't want to see no panties in your book. Put bathing suits on and you can justify it. Bathing suits only. No butt picture.
Put bathing suits on and you could justify it, is what he said. Or should I say what she said? I don't want to see no panties in the. I don't want to see no panties, but put some bathing suits on. You could justify it. I don't want to see no panties. It look like they naked. It look like I see their vagina. I can see their vagina. I can hear the whole way I'm saying that. So put bathing suits on. You can justify it, right? So you make it a swimsuit magazine almost. A swimsuit magazine where they're standing in front of cars and shit, right? But it's supposedly a technically banned magazine in inmate magazines. So y'all tell me what it is. I'm just saying. But this is pretty much, I think they all knew his, this is pretty much what Thalia Graves, you know, if anything, if you would look for her videotape, this is pretty much where her shit got pretty much put. This is where her shit got put pretty much. Let me see what's going on here. So, assuming that the tape exists, his face isn't showing because he's trying to say he's never met her. Yeah, so that's the thing, right? He did also make a statement. Joe also did make a statement saying that, yeah, he never met her, this, and the third, but and we don't need to necessarily read that, but because I don't believe Joe. Heard Joe. Nigga bipolar, crazy. I'm pretty sure the nigga forgetful. Hell, this is 2001. That is over 23 damn years ago. I'm pretty sure Big Joe don't remember shit. As far as 2001. That's a long damn time ago. Exactly. What secret, nigga? What other secrets did she tell you? It's just the thing. You gotta pay attention when niggas say shit like that. Old lady told you the secret. Just put bathing suits on. You can justify it. I want to know what else she told you. But more importantly, I would like to know. Someone said in the chat earlier, what part of the dark web was that videotape sold to? Because from what's described, there was a lot of BDSM and beating going on and bruising. That's only sold on the dark web to the rich higher ups that actually want to see that type of stupidness. So let us get back into the case. Just wanted to, bring to light, of course, and put a picture on who Joseph Sherman is and why this would have been sold as pornography. All right. Let's get back into things, shall we? So, introduction. In around summer of 2001, plaintiff's life was violently knocked off course when defendant Sean Combs and Joseph Sherman viciously raped her at the Bad Boy recording studio in New York City. Plaintiff was 25 at the time and dating one of Combs' employees, a relationship that Combs exploited to lure plaintiff into meeting him and Sherman alone. Once they successfully, what's that say? Squirted. Sequestered plaintiff, I guess you could say. They successfully sequestered plaintiff. Combs and Sherman gave plaintiff a drink likely laced with a drug that eventually caused her briefly to lose consciousness. She awoke to find herself bound and restrained. Combs and Sherman proceeded to brutally, sexually, and violate plaintiff. Combs mercilessly raped her and anally and vaginally. Sherman forcibly slammed plaintiff onto a table, slapped her, and repeatedly thrusted his penis into her mouth. Both men were undeterred by plaintiff's cries for help throughout the attack. Plaintiff never recovered from defendant's violent rape. She had suicidal thoughts and ideation, and has received extensive psychological treatment because of defendant's attack. For decades, she remained silent and did not report the crime out of fear that defendant would use their power to ruin her life, as they had repeatedly explicitly threatened to do. To this day, plaintiff suffers from severe depression, anxiety, and panic attacks, and still lives in fear of defendant. So that's pretty much why she didn't even want to even come forth with this. She didn't want to come forth with this pretty much because she thought Diddy was still, going to be able to have some type of power. But once he got arrested, she felt the need to really want to come forward. Oh, yes, that was great wording catching there, too. An old madam. Right? So if we're thinking about the term madam, right? Madam is what? Someone that runs a whorehouse. That's like a female pimp, pretty much. Madam, right? Good observation there. Very good observation there. Any progress plaintiff had made in healing from the attack over the years was dramatically reversed on or around November 27, 2023, when she learned for the first time that Combs and Sherman had video recorded the horrific rape. Wait a minute. So November 27, 2023. November 2023 is when we found out about the Cassie case. Interesting. So around this same time, she had learned for the first time that Combs and Joseph had video recorded the horrific rape 22 years before and had shown the video to multiple men, seeking to publicly degrade and humiliate both plaintiff and her boyfriend. So I really now I understand why the press even asked that question. How did they even find out that they were selling the tape? That means that tape is actually was made public somewhere. Now I'm starting to wonder now if that video was actually out somewhere. That video is going to leak, unfortunately. I feel like that's going to be a leaked video that's going to come out that's going to, That's going to rock a lot of people to see that video if it leaks. It really is. If that one leaks, that's going to rock a lot of people. Plaintiff could not believe A defendant would record themselves committing such a gruesome crime and then proceed proudly and widely to disseminate the recording of it. She was distraught and sunk into to a deep depression. She again considered ending her life. This action seeks redress for defendants brutalizing, misogynic, and violent attacks on plaintiffs starting in 2001 with their rape and continuing into subsequent years as they compounded her humiliation by showing the video of the sexual assault to others. So, defendant Sean Combs is a male who, on information and belief, resides in L.A. Okay, so we don't have to read pretty much the description of who Sean Combs is, of course. We just need to get down to pretty much the allegations. I just want to make sure we get down to the allegations, don't skip anything. So this is pretty much, this is all the addresses of Bad Boy Records. As you can see, Defendant Bad Boy Productions, New York City. This is just pretty much the addresses and things like that. So we're getting down to the, okay, so here we go. Factual allegations. So plaintiff's family immigrated to New York City when plaintiff was a teenager in connection with her mother's work. Her family ultimately settled in Rego Park, Queens, where she completed her education and where she was living when she met Combs. So, defendant Combs, also known by his stage name Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Brother Love. So, prominent rapper, record executive, and businessman. He rose to fame in the 1990s with his record label Bad Boy and continued to be a notable figure in the music and entertainment industry in the following years. Combs has continued to amass wealth and power through his business ventures in the music, fashion, fragrance, beverage, marketing, film, television, and media industries. And just read also what's going on in the chat here. Got a feeling Diddy got his folks still blackmailing people in hopes of helping them. I wouldn't be surprised at that, considering he has made more calls than a regular call center person would at a telemarketing firm. So even him contacting witnesses 59 over 120 times, sir, that is tampering with evidence. I don't know who told him that was a good idea to be doing that, or even the lawyers to be doing something like that, or Young Miami for that matter. But it's a terrible idea to be doing it, considering everybody is already investigating you. Now I'm talking about not just the FBI and the CIA. God damn it, we're investigating you. So everybody, you are in court of a public opinion, sir. Everyone is watching you with a third eye, hawkeye, eagle eye, if you want. This is eagle eye all over on Diddy. Okay, so continued to be a notable figure in the music industry. Okay, so the Bad Boy enterprise is the foundation of Combs' wealth and power. Bad Boy has sold over 500 million records through its lucrative distribution deals with the top music companies and has signed claim hip hop. Okay, so it's going to read more of that with his accolades and whatnot. Okay, here we go. As detailed, see Infra 57 through 64. Combs has a long history of violence and abusing and raping women, and there have been several civil lawsuits filed against Combs in the past year alleging sexual violence and abuse. The September 16, 2024, Combs arrested and charged racketeering sex trafficking. He was denied bail. Okay, so defendant Sherman, also known as Big Joe, was employed by Combs as his bodyguard and head of security during the relevant time period described herein and served in various roles in the Combs corporations. Sherman is also the founder of Rhymes and Diamonds Magazine, Inc., a New York State registered corporation through or in connection with that company produces and distributes pornography. So, why would you not have, again, this is where the loophole comes in. Why would you not have that in the lawsuit? Are we following? Why would you not have that part in there? Only one Zane, what's going on? What's going on with you? Well, we're going to be here a little bit longer. So we're just starting to read the court case here of Miss Thalia Graves, yet another lawsuit victim of Diddy. another lawsuit victim of Diddy. We just looked at her press conference and a introduction of who Big Joe is, aka Joseph Sherman, in this court case here. So, where was that here? Okay, Sherman is also the founder of Rhymes and Dimes magazine. Okay, yeah, New York registered corporation in through or in connection with that company resides. Yeah, so this is what I was saying. I don't understand why Rhymes and Dimes wasn't in the defendants list, considering you know that this was sold for pornography, and you know Rhymes and Dimes does pornography. That was my hops. How could you not put Rhymes and Dimes? Look, I'll show you guys again real quick. I know where we at. We at 22. Look. Joseph Sherman is in it. But if you're going to sue all of Diddy's enterprises, production companies, holdings, entertainments, organizations, as part of a RICO, why would you not sue Rhymes and Dimes publication in there? It just doesn't make that part just doesn't make good sense to me. I'm just being honest here. That part is very unsettling to me. Like I said, that's the one loophole if you want to think about it. This is a pornography publication. It just doesn't make sense why you wouldn't have that in there. I'm just saying. I could be wrong. I could be wrong there. Plaintiff met defendant Combs in or around late 1999, 2000 through her then boyfriend, who was executive at Bad Boy. Good question. That's a very good question there. I wonder now, who was the Bad Boy executive in 2000? Bad Boy executive 2000. Let me see here. Aha. No. Bad Boy Records. Aha. It was Harvey Pierre. Mr. Harvey Pierre. Yep. Okay, so that's why she didn't want to say who. That's why she didn't want to say who. Because she was with Harvey. Which would make sense why she didn't want to say. Because then that would incriminate her in other acts. Or should I say in other witnessings, wouldn't it? I'm starting to wonder now if that's why she didn't necessarily mention Rhymes. Yeah, something's not right with this one here. This is why some certain things are starting to catch my eye a little bit, but that's interesting there. Okay. Harvey is Harvey is actually in his own lawsuit with Diddy. That's the interesting part. Harvey is in his own separate lawsuit with Diddy, in which there was a Jane Doe involved in that one. And in this particular one, this one isn't even the Jane Doe. Something is very fishy here. I will say that. So in addition to working together, plaintiff's boyfriend and Combs had a close personal relationship. Plaintiff frequently visited her boyfriend at the Bad Boy studio in New York City and attended events hosted at Combs' residence. This has to be Harvey. She has to be talking about Harvey. Over time, plaintiff became familiar with Combs, and he knew about her relationship with her boyfriend. This is definitely him. In or around the summer of 2001, plaintiff received a call from Combs concerning her boyfriend's employment at Bad Boy. He told her he wanted to meet with her in person to discuss her boyfriend's supposed performance issues. Her boyfriend was determined to climb up the ladder at Combs' record label, and his romantic partner, plaintiff, was committed to helping him. Plaintiff agreed to meet with Combs. In retrospect, it was evidently a sick and twisted way of using his ownership of and title at Bad Boy and its affiliate entities to abuse plaintiff and also show his power and ability to humiliate her boyfriend, his executive. A few hours later, Combs arrived. Combs arrived at plaintiff's, that deadline thing is messing me up. Plaintiff's mother residence in Queens with Sherman, who was employed by Combs at his bodyguard at the time. Sherman was driving an SUV and Combs, yes. Sherman was driving an SUV and Combs was in the back seat. After plaintiff entered the vehicle, Combs offered her a glass of wine, which she accepted. Like I said, that deadline thing is just blaring me out here. I apologize there. Combs began discussing his alleged concerns about her boyfriend's performance at work. Meanwhile, as plaintiff drank what had been handed to her, she started to feel lightheaded, dizzy, and physically weak. In retrospect, it is clear that Combs had caused a drug to be put in plaintiff's drink, as a few sips of wine had never impacted her that way. Combs and Sherman drove plaintiff to the Bad Boy studio in Manhattan. When they arrived, plaintiff tried to get out of the car. When they arrived and plaintiff tried to get out of the car, she realized that she was feeling odd and found it difficult to walk. She assumed this was her fault and did her best to act normal and allowed Combs as he led her eventually to a couch in a private room in the Bad Boy studio. She later came to understand this was Combs' personal lounge and office at the Bad Boy studio. Wow. So pretty much she's out of it at this point. She's blacked out, drugged up. She's pretty much incoherent, has no idea what's going on, and he's bringing her into the studio. This is like I said, this is like so many times he's done this. So many times he's done this to so many different victims and so many different women. So many different women. Thank you so much, Only Zane, for the cash up. I greatly appreciate that. So Combs sat on the couch next to plaintiff and continued speaking to her. Plaintiff began feeling even more woozy and sedated. She then lost consciousness. When plaintiff regained consciousness, she was naked and her hands were tied behind her back with what felt like a plastic grocery bag. Plaintiff shouted for help. In response, Sherman lifted her up from the couch and forcefully slammed her face down on what was apparently a pool table. Shortly thereafter, Combs entered the room naked. Wow. He didn't waste any time. And this sounds like damn near like something out of Hostel. With the plastic grocery bag. That sounds like something out of fucking Hostel right there. And slamming her down on the pool table. Like, these guys are monsters, man. These guys are just complete monsters for this dumb shit, yo. And you see how the size of Big Joe. I just want y'all to understand that. You see the size of Big Joe in the pictures. How he was towering over even Beanie Siegel and everybody else. Just leaning over everybody's shoulder. You see how big the guy is. So just think about that. Like, he's 3 times the size of Diddy. And 5 times the size of this young woman. Combs reached for a container of lubricant. Why is that in there? Combs reached for a container of lubricant that smelled like menthol and proceeded to apply it to his penis. He then bent plaintiff over the table, causing her feet to dangle above the floor. I do apologize for anybody that is triggered by me reading this. I do apologize. Okay, so He then bent plaintiff over the table, causing her feet to dangle above the floor, forcefully held her down, and anally penetrated her without her consent. Plaintiff is 4 feet 11 inches tall, weighed only 130 pounds at the time. Yo, it damn near is bringing a tear to my eye just reading the fact that she is 4'11", bruh. Understand this: 4'11" compared to Joe is probably about 6'8" minimum. Big Joe is about 6'8" minimum, yo. And that girl was 4'11" at the time. Getting brutally raped by someone 6 foot and up. Two people 6 foot tall and up. This is absolutely beyond disgusting. And I don't even understand why she would even want to protect Harvey Pierre at this point, if that was her boyfriend at the time. This is hard to read. This is harder. I see why the even the press conference was necessary now. This is hard to read. Like, even the other court cases, they had things in them, like the gangbang that happened to Lauren London's sister. Trying to think of her name now. Capricorn. The gangbang that happened to Capricorn in Don Richards' case, or the woman that was, in all black, when English pretty much had to wear all black at the party, at the all white party, and she was pretty much made to do things because she was wearing all black and she was a target. Then you had McKinney, who was, forced to give head in the parking lot, forced to give head in the studio bathroom. Like, this one is probably the worst one of them all. This one really is probably the worst one of them all. This is crazy here. Plaintiff was unable to move, totally overpowered physically, in addition to being drugged and bound. Plaintiff screamed out in pain, but Combs continued to violently anally rape her. He easily physically overpowered her, smashing her head down on the pool table while she futilely tried to wiggle out from under him. During the brutal attack, plaintiff vomited into, oh my God, what am I reading? Plaintiff vomited in her mouth on the table. At one point, she involuntarily defecated. Combs was, y'all do your Googles on what defecated means. Oh my God. Combs was undeterred. He wiped himself off, applied more lubricant, and without any acknowledgement of plaintiff's distress, proceeded to vaginally penetrate plaintiff. Plaintiff experienced intense pain and burning sensations in her vagina and anus. Plaintiff continued to scream for help because of the extreme pain she felt as Combs penetrated her over and over. She then lost consciousness again. The next time she regained consciousness, plaintiff was on the couch and Sherman was standing in front of her with his bare penis in her face. Sherman then slapped the plaintiff in the face and forcibly inserted the penis in her mouth. Sherman slapped her yet again and continued to thrust his penis into the plaintiff's mouth. Yeah, this is difficult to read. This is difficult to read. Plaintiff once again lost consciousness. When she next woke, plaintiff was on the couch naked and alone in the room. Plaintiff was in severe pain and distress. Anus and vagina burned. Her face and wrists were bruised. Her genital area smelled strong of menthol. Yeah, and the Celestial said that same thing. He has to hate his mom with doing shit like this. There's no way a man loves their mom and does things like this. There's no way. There's just no way. This is ridiculous here. She felt the liquid, presumably semen, dripping out from inside of her. Her dress was thrown over. At least the brutal part sounds like it's over. My God. Her dress was thrown over her. Her purse was on the couch next to her, and her bra was on the floor nearby. She did not see her underpants. Terrified that Combs and Sherman would return, plaintiff quickly got dressed and bottled out of the studio room where she had been raped. Like I said, this sounds like something. If you ever seen the movie Hostel, this sounds straight out of Hostel. It sounds like something straight out of Hostel. If you ever seen the movie Spit on Your Grave, the movie Spit on Your Grave, it sounds like somebody spit on your grave, which I love the Spit on Your Grave series because Spit on Your Grave actually, shows what karma is like for these men that do this shit to the women. I really, reading this, I never thought I would say this, but just reading this, I never wish this upon anybody. But I would hope Diddy gets a spit on your grave type of karma. If you've ever seen the movie Spit on Your Grave, or if you've never seen the movie, definitely watch the movie I Spit on Your Grave. You'll see what I'm talking about when that woman is pretty much, these same things are done to that woman, and she pretty much gets. I don't want to spoil it too much, but let's just say she does have, the last laugh in regards to things in that movie. Terrified that they will return, plaintiff quickly got dressed and bowed out of the studio room where she had been raped. Still dizzy and weak, plaintiff called a livery driver that her family regularly hired and knew well. The driver picked her up from outside Bad Boy Studio. She was disheveled, crying uncontrollably and suffering from agonizing pain. See, this is where I get a little bit confused because picking her up and she's looking the way she's looking, I'm starting to ask myself if this is a family known driver, right? Why didn't the driver say something? The driver drove her to the hospital and tried to convince her to report the rape and get a rape kit, but she was unable to leave the car. Shaking and crying hysterically and terrified of what Combs would do to her and her family if she reported him. I get that part, right? Why didn't he say something? Like I said, I do get this part, right? 2001, still very much in power. So let me not even say that. Why didn't anybody say anything? Let me forget I even said that. This is still 2001, of course, very much so in power. That's pretty much why. That's pretty much why, unfortunately. The aftermath and impact of the rape on plaintiff. Plaintiff sustained serious physical injuries in the aftermath of the rape. As noted, she had burning in her vagina and anus and bruising on her wrist and face. In the days after the assault, she suffered prolonged and anal bleeding in her hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids, excuse me. And anal bleeding and hemorrhoids. Ugh. Because of Combs' power and notoriety, plaintiff was afraid to report what had happened. She was involved in a continuous divorce and custody battle at the time and feared the reporting the rape would cause her to lose custody of her young child. So then Harvey puts her through a fucking divorce. These sick fucks over at Bad Boy, yo. So not only is she in fear of Diddy doing something, Harvey's divorcing her. I mean, if you really the main way to prove this would be going through the archives of the Rhymes and Dimes magazine. That's one way of looking through evidence. The second way of doing this is, of course, searching the dark web through your own sources of hackers. It's the FBI and CIA, of course. More so, I would think the FBI is handling something like this, or helping handling something like this, with Cassie helping the FBI in the trafficking. Of course, this is one of those things that's going to be heavily looked at by the jurors, of course, that or definitely looking at court of public opinion, things like that. This is one of those things where, of course, Thalia will definitely be called to the stand if he was to even make it to trial. Thalia will definitely be one of the witnesses with her story, of course. So once again, there's plenty different ways that this can be proven. Let me just be clear there. And 411, what's going on? I didn't even see you pop in here. What's going on with you? It's a few different ways, like I said, that this can be actually be proven. The second way would be, of course, the DNA. Of course, I don't think necessarily. So, I think it was the McKinney case, if I'm not mistaken, or the English case. One of them, they actually had kept the evidence for a long period of time. Yeah, she's helping even though she got paid. That was public. That Cassie's actually helping the FBI. That was made public. That she's definitely helping them. TMZ had reported that. Actually, they were the first person to talk about that. Cassie's definitely helping the feds. That's why all these lawsuits are just starting to come down the pipeline like this. That's why you're seeing an array of lawsuits coming down the line right now. It's because Cassie started it off. Cassie started it off. Because at the very beginning, she poked a hole in a very huge fucking pinata. This shit busted wide open. You see, that's another thing I learned today, too. The NDAs don't even hold up anymore. NDAs don't hold up in the act of a criminal act. NDAs do not hold up in the event of a criminal act. So regardless, even if they signed anything, they saw something. That's why Dawn Richards was able to speak. Because even though she signed an NDA of any sorts back then, she was able to speak because she still witnessed criminal acts. Same thing with Cassie. She was a part of and witnessed criminal acts. That NDA don't mean shit no more. So, following the assault multiple times over the years, both Combs and Sherman contacted plaintiff and warned her to be silent, threatening repercussions, including plaintiff potentially losing custody of her son if she ever disclosed the assault. Because of the enormous power in the industry, including through their ownership of and positions at the Combs corporations, including through their ownership of and positions at the Combs corporations, plaintiff knew that they could follow through on their threats. So this is, like I said, more proof that. So here's another way they can prove it, right? Harvey, in his case, right? If they were to come to him and say, "Hey, were you married to such and such around this time?" We probably can't even find it. I'm going to see if I can Google it real quick, if I can, because we just looked at who Thalia Graves was potentially married to. I just want to see something real quick. Harvey Pierre. Thalia Graves, Harvey Pierre. So far, all you see is really Harvey Pierre in his case. And then her lawsuit. You don't really see. Let me see something real quick, though. Marriage, Harvey Pierre, 2001. Yeah, it's not showing who he was actually married to back then. Who he himself was actually married to. Like I said, you see more of his allegations. All right, so let's just get back to this particular reading right here. So, let's see. Because of the enormous power and playing through the threats. Okay, so plaintiff told close friends that Combs and Sherman had drugged and savagely raped her. But as noted, excuse me, but as noted, was afraid to report the attack to the police out of fear that defendants would follow through on threats. She was even afraid to stay in New York City while Combs lived there. So, with the help of a friend, she fled to Pennsylvania. Plaintiff has, in fact, relocated multiple times throughout the years in an effort to stay away from Combs. Plaintiff has suffered irreparable harm because of the brutal rape by defendants Combs and Sherman. She suffers from severe depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. She also has suffered suicidal ideation and intrusive thoughts and has attempted to end her life. Plaintiff lives in constant fear. She struggles with hypervigilance and experiences anxiety and panic attacks in social settings, preferring to be alone. Her need to hide to feel safe has strained her relationships with friends and family. Defendant's rape has also impacted plaintiff's ability to engage in sexual acts with her intimate partners. To this day, she cannot be in certain sexual positions without experiencing flashbacks of Combs violently penetrating her from behind. So, plaintiff learns that the rape and was videotaped and published around 2023, November 27th. All the trauma of the rape came flooding back to plaintiff when her former boyfriend, revealed to her for the first time that Combs and Sherman had recorded in public. This is definitely Harvey. Harvey's the only one that even knew about it. Okay. He revealed to her that it was published. It was a published video. So this is definitely something that's in the Rhymes and Dimes archives. It just has to be located. Earlier this month, Cassie Ventura had come forward and filed a lawsuit against Combs for subjecting her to years of severe sexual and physical abuse. The case had been settled one day after it had been filed. Plaintiff's former boyfriend invoked Miss Ventura's effort to hold Combs accountable. For the first time, confessed that years later, sometimes after the actual rape itself, Sherman and Combs had shown him and a group of men, some of whom were also employed by Combs companies and their related entities, the video of plaintiff being raped. He disclosed that Combs and Sherman had a pattern and practice of non-consensually recording women engaging in sensual acts and making those videos available to the public, including by selling tapes as pornography. So Harvey pretty much spilled the beans and snitched. Now, I'm not even going to say snitched. He pretty much spilled the beans and let Thalia know what was actually going on, and that's how she found out about the tape even existing. But the fact that Harvey himself took it upon himself to even say something like that and say, yo, they've been doing this shit for years, that definitely implements Harvey unless you know who it actually is and who they're talking about here. A Bad Boy artist later corroborated in the text message that Sherman used to sell porn of him doing this to chicks, and that Sherman did that to a lot of women. Okay, so he actually has he's a repeated offender of this. This is crazy. He's a repeated offender of this shit. Plaintiff's former boyfriend reported that he and other men watched the recording of plaintiff's rape on a handheld camera while at Bad Boy Studio in New York City. Combs, Sherman, and some of the other men made derogatory comments about the former boyfriend's relationships with plaintiff in an attempt to shame him into cutting ties with plaintiff and to cause her further emotional harm and embarrassment. On information and belief, defendants continue to show the video of the rape to others over the years and through to the present, and sold the video as pornography. Plaintiff was shocked and horrified that Combs and Sherman had recorded, and publicized the video of them raping her. After 2 decades spent trying to heal and distance herself from the experience, plaintiff was devastated by the news. She felt as if her life had been turned upside down again, and like rape had been happening again and again, even as she was trying to forget it. She experienced acute psychological distress, plunging into a deep depression and having suicidal ideations. She felt intense fear, ideations. She felt intense fear, anger, and anxiety. Plaintiff lives with the distress of knowing that the video of her brutal rape is in a circulation and that anyone, including her family, friends, and peers, could view it at any time. So pretty much this might be even on a website, but it might not even be on Rhymes and Dimes archive. It might just be a regular video that you can actually just find any old where. That's crazy. Hoping to protect herself from further humiliation by convincing him to destroy the tape or provide it to her, but he did not respond. So she definitely reached out to Big Joe as far as trying to get the tape back. But of course, that's kind of crazy there. So Combs' pattern and practices violence and abuse, including drug, raping, and secretly recording his violence against women. So Combs' long history of violence and abuse. This long-standing behavior has been enabled by ownership of entitles at the Combs corporations and affiliated. This is all the same thing that they said about him in Rod's case and Cassie's case. Look at that. They're mentioning all the lawsuits once again. And this is why I said it's no way that they're not going to call all these people to the stand. They're even going down the list of all his lawsuits right here. They're going down a list of all his lawsuits, what's happened to him, the raid, his arrests, everything. Pretty much putting it all on the record labels that enabled him and allowed him to actually do these things, their affiliations, also implementing his different enterprises, his holdings, and all his LLCs, everything that he owns by him, everything Sean Combs is pretty much getting washed away, completely washed the fuck away. It's this one was, like I said, one of the most difficult lawsuits of all to read. Definitely one of the most difficult ones to read, considering the fact that it was such a detailed situation here. Then seeing the fact, like I said, she was so short. She is such a short woman compared to someone like Big Joe and compared to someone like Diddy. It, like I said, it further adds, it adds to the fact that this man was, is very sick and sadistic. Help cannot fix this. Let me further say that. Help cannot fix what Diddy is. Help can definitely not fix him. Because that's just insane. That is pure insanity right there. Like I said, I'm just in pure shock at what I actually read there. I'm in pure shock still.